Okay, so let's check out the RuneScape news. So, behind the scenes of sailing, Volume 1. It's time to peek behind the scenes on sailing. Ahoy there, and welcome to Behind the Scenes blog on sailing, a brand new skill for Old School RuneScape. It's been some time since the community voted for the skill back in 2022, it was a long time ago. At that time, the new skill consisted of Mod Elena, Mod Husky, Mod Light, Mod Gecko, Mod Errol, Jerv, Grub, and Curse, with support from Ayiza and Kieren. The months of player surveys and consultation, we presented our refined ideas at the 2023 Summer Summit, asking if we should lock in sailing as our first new skill. Hundreds of thousands of votes later, we started work on Old School's biggest project yet. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this, let's see what they're saying about it. So today we'll be talking about how boats navigate from a technical perspective, pathfinding algorithms and movement styles. Next we'll go through the feedback of our sailing closed tech alpha and our plans moving forward. Finally, we'll give you an update on our open tech alpha coming next year. If you're not ready for a long voyage through sailing's development so far, you can see the highlights right here. We encourage you to read the whole blog though. Okay. So in our latest blog we mentioned laying the tech foundations. This includes the ability for players to own various boats, board and disembark from them, move them, interact with onboard facilities, adjust camera and zoom distance and more. Okay. So the next step is to bring all hands on deck with an open tech alpha. This involves extensive engine work as well as some important decisions behind the scenes. Our first question was whether boats should move like players or have their own unique movement. Players are used to moving their character around by clicking, but boats are quite a bit larger. In fact, in the game code, they're technically entire land masses by themselves. The size of the ships meant they were crashing into all sorts of things. We also ruled out smart pathing. So this system determines the most efficient route from one point to another. This is great when you're a minotaur trying to navigate around some annoying pillars, but less great when you're a player trying to sail a ship. Instead of sailing a ship, it feels like you are the ship, which is not at all what we're after. Yeah, it makes sense, because then it's just you on the sea, right? So smart pathing also made the boats wiggle around obstacles like a player character might. If you haven't seen a boat in real life, of course you know that they actually don't make slow or wide turns at different speeds, resulting in a turning circle. We wanted this part of sailing skill expression, so smart pathing had to go. I mean, that makes sense, right? Like, if the point is sailing, you want to be able to, you know, navigate rather than just like click somewhere and the boat moves. It's pretty pointless. So we played around with a few other pathing algorithms too. A pathing, for example, is this industry standard. They even use it in sat-navs. Unfortunately, it caused performance issues and unexpected crashes when scaled up to 2,000 players, whereas it caused frustrating moments where the route and final angle were unpredictable. What's A-star pathing? A-star pathing. Graph traversal and pathfinding algorithm, which uses mesofield computer science. In terms of weighted graph starting from a specific starting node of a graph, it aims to find a path to a given goal having the smallest cost, least distance travelled or shortest time. Does this by maintaining a tree of paths originating at the start node and extending those paths one edge at a time until the goal is reached. Okay. What was the problem with it? Performance issues, yeah, I guess, yeah, something like that. So you have this branching. Every time you branch, you're just going to create more and more things that need to be stored, and then it's just gonna, Yes, would scale to 2,000 players. Worse, it caused frustrating moments where the route and final angle were unpredictable. So this is the GIF of the A-star movement on ships. Rather than turning around and facing the bottom right, it turns 360 degrees, fails to face the right direction, and then crashes the server. Yep. Counterintuitively, it seemed that smart pathing wasn't the smartest approach. It takes decisions away from the player, which over time would make sailing less fun. To say nothing of the work required to maintain it. We realised that predictability, consistency and realism were the most important parts of the player experience, especially since we were adding content like the Barracuda trials, which will reward precise movement. Yeah. So we went back to our guiding principles, included that boat movement should be fun, so players would enjoy learning it. Distinct, boat movement should feel unique, making players feel like sailors. And mastering navigation, not simply an extension of their ship. So they want to make it simple. Telling your character where to walk is dead easy. Telling your boat where to go should be dead easy too. Then it's not as fun. If it's easy, it's not fun. There's nothing fun about walking around in RuneScape. It's if you're walking to something or doing something, that's what's the fun part, not the actual walking. I don't know why it needs to be easy, but okay. So skill expression, players who master navigation should feel rewarded for good movement, not punished for bad movement. We want a high threshold for mastery rather than a high barrier to entry. Okay, that makes sense. So using simple pathing instead of an algorithm, we were able to give players full control. You can now run your ship into all the obstacles you like while enjoying predictable and consistent movement. They got tan lines on the guy. Okay, so with movement finally ready, it was time for closed tech alpha. You remember we introduced some beta worlds back in June. We can now reveal that these worlds were full of play testers of varying skill levels trying out sailing and giving us feedback. This was the first time we'd ever had player input on sailing's core mechanics. So although the feedback initially leaned negative, it was very, very valuable. We'd like to thank everyone who participated for all your hard work. Closed Tech Alpha revealed a number of compounding issues we had to fix before we could get to grips with how navigation felt. Firstly, we found that large boats took up too much space on the screen. This issue was already in our sights thanks to the feedback on our blog, but playtesting revealed that changes were critical. As a result, we scaled down all boat sizes, rapidly prototyping different scales to find the upper and lower limits. We paid particular attention to the amount of space on deck and how it felt to interact with facilities and move around the ship. We also decided to cut colossal boats and stick to small and large ones for now. I don't know why would you need a massive ship unless... What would be cool is if this scale, you have other people on the boat and you can like take people... You can take people to other places. That would make the skill kind of fun. Imagine like being paid to go somewhere where you couldn't normally get to. So playtesters are also highlighted... oh no, wait, hang on. Next we focused on improving camera focus while sailing. When you're not navigating, the camera will focus on the player character, and while navigating, it will focus on the boat. Makes sense? That seems simple enough, but this small change actually required a whole new engine command to function properly. So playtesters highlighted a couple of click box issues, which helped us discover an error where the game struggled to calculate click boxes on boats specifically. We also adjusted the click boxes on sails to make gameplay feel more fluid. Some feedback revealed that playtesters didn't know how to dock their boats, so we created a visual indicator. Check out the anchor below. Okay. After all that, we were ready to focus on navigation. Our original design locked players... Hang on. What am I doing? We should be listening to suitable music. Okay. Our original design locked players in place while they were navigating their boat unless they exited navigation mode. This was designed to prevent frustrating misclicks. However, playtesters let us know that this feature meant there wasn't enough time to keep the boat moving while trimming the sails. To keep this process nice and rhythmic, we adjusted the space between the sails and other facilities. Sails on small boats and rafts will always be a clickable distance while navigating, which should help gameplay feel more fluid. Finally, and most interestingly, playtesters wanted us to explore perpetual movement, the ability to keep your ship moving in the same direction without clicking. During refinement, we'd thought of this as an advanced feature, but the closed tech alpha made us realise we should at least see how newer sailors coped with it. To truly understand how players felt about perpetual movement, we needed to rapidly test different options in isolation. We had to go beyond the engine. So enter Unity, a popular off-the-shelf game engine. With its simple features, we were able to whip up a quick, bare-bones version of all our own systems and rapidly prototype sailing movement options. At some point, of course, we make these changes in our own engine. For now, though, Unity lets us figure out exactly what we want before we start a massive instinct. Oh, it's cool that they're using Unity to like basically prototype all this stuff. That's cool. It also means it's much easier for playtesters to give us feedback. It's difficult for us to get a developed version of the old school engine into the hands of players. We don't have the infrastructure for players to connect to two different engine versions at the same time, so they couldn't possibly compare different prototypes effectively. Okay. If we use our own engine for testing these options, we'd have to wait 6 to 8 weeks between each build. So instead, Unity allowed us to do easily press prototypes. The results were amazing. So Unity prototype and what we've changed. So movement types 1 and 2. Let me just get these fish. Click the ocean to set your direction, not your destination. And then click the boat icons in the side panel or your sail to set your speed. In movement type 2, click behind the boat while moving to stop. Snaps to quarter tiles in 16 directions. When setting a direction, the boat will move perpetually until it collides with something or you press stop. So type 3 and 4, click... Oh, let's see what this one does. So in this one, so click the direction, and it just keeps moving in that direction. Okay. That seems quite good. Seems like you're actually just steering the boat with your clicks rather than saying go to this place. That's good. Okay, so the movement type 3, you click the ocean to set your destination, and click the boat icons in the side panel to set your speed. Doesn't adhere to a grid system. Sails perpetually in the direction you clicked until you glide and press or stop. Okay, so in this case, let's have a look. Yeah, I don't like that. I prefer the first one because, like, it feels like you're turning. You want to turn when you click, not, and you want to. You want to be able to like predict where, like when you're sailing, you're not turning immediately. You're going to turn, like you start turning the sail or whatever before you want to turn. If that makes sense. Whereas this, you have to be like, it feels a bit tight. Whereas this one, it feels more natural and more like sailing, I'd say. But let me know what you think in the comments. So they've got 5, move to a tile, move into full timing, so 8 directions. Click to move to tile, moves in a straight line with no snapping at an angle without adhering to the grid. Click to move direction. So internally we liked methods 1 to 4, but we didn't want to make a final decision. Methods 1 and 2 had predictability and consistency we're looking for, but it relied on using a side panel. 3 and 4 relied less on the side panel, but had their own issues with movement. As it was travelling to the destination tile, we sometimes saw wiggling movements and abrupt stops. Oh. So we were hoping that the playtesters would have a definitive preference, and they did. Methods 1 and 3 proved to be the most equal favourites, and we were able to discount method 2 entirely as players' votes. It was unintuitive to click behind your ship to stop it moving. Yeah, number 1 I'd say is my favourite. However, we still need to decide between methods 1 and 3. The decision went back to the team for our final verdict. Ultimately, we decided to proceed with method 1 as we really valued its consistency and predictability, and its adherence to the familiar grid system proved popular with our playtesters. I think it's just like, it's the best for sailing as well. Because when you're sailing, you have to kind of predict movement rather than like, oh, I need to turn now, I'm going to turn now and I turn. That's more like how a car works, whereas sailing, you have to like, you turn the wheel and then you turn towards the way you turned. Although we were worried about the side panel, we realised that the side panel itself was not the issue. The problem was that players didn't want to totally rely on it for movement. Looking ahead, the side panel will be used to control crew members, but we feel that having your character interact with things on the boat is critical for the skill. We've already identified ways to prevent over-reliance on the side panel. Allowing players to stop and start their ship's movement is one example. Okay. So earlier we talked about skill expression. Method 1 gives us a great foundation to build content around consistently and predictable movement patterns. For example, the ship has a consistent turn pattern which always arcs to the same degree. Sailing is a skill, and we're excited to see players get mechanically better at it while their levels go up. That's only achievable when movement is consistent. Okay. Ooh, need to get some more bait. Additionally, we've been implementing clearer visual indicators via the game side panel or chat box to highlight where you need to click or to start or stop your boat. So the new boats are more grey box than older ones as we started to value the fast iteration over aesthetic flair for testing purposes. The second picture shows the light boat as our previous small boat size. The grey and dark are just a new small boat and raft. If you can't be the Unity also allows us to test our scaled down ships, including the 1x3 raft. This tiny vessel can fit one additional facility outside of the tiller and sails. Talk about compact. Small boats feel great to steer, they fit neatly on the screen and pose little challenge to navigation at sea. While this may feel limiting at first, it's a natural start to your sailing journey, and it avoids overwhelming you with loads of choices while you're still learning the ropes. Upgrading to a bigger boat with more facilities was a natural part of the skill progression. Speaking of, large ships take up a much larger portion of the screen's real estate in exchange for more facilities and the room to run around on board. Playtesting boats of various sizes let us figure out the optimum layout for facilities, ensuring they complement the core gameplay too. Playtesting boats of various sizes let us figure out the playtesters love the updated boat sizes too, which has given us plenty of confidence moving forward. So what's next? We know you're yearning for the seas, and next year you'll be able to try sailing for yourself in our open tech alpha. First, we need to run one more closed tech alpha to run through all the feedback changes we've applied for the first one. We also need to resolve issues with collision detection. Right now our boats currently intersect with the edge of the coast and it looks a bit glitchy. Additionally, we've been exploring on-site playtesting options that will rapidly speed up feedback and allow us to deliver sailing in a reasonable time frame. We've already had a successful on-site playtest with just 3 players and everything seems to be working as expected. Now we're increasing playtester numbers gradually to ensure that all is well before we present Sailor to the wider community. Currently our playtesters live all over the world, many of them... Okay. Ooh, should we do the survey? I'm not giving you my details. I'm interested... What is my Discord name? How did you vote on sailing? I didn't vote. What is your total skill level? What is my skill level? 1697. I am a YouTuber and I want to make interesting content about this new skill. Do you live within the UK? No. Oh, didn't vote. Great. Okay, so by now you hope you're seeing sailing has improved consistently with each round of feedback. Likewise, a huge part of sailing was shaped by your feedback in the OpenTech Alpha. Is it fun? Do you have them distinct yet natural intuitive? Do you feel like you can get better sailing over time? Okay, so navigation isn't all they've been working on, it's just many update blogs, and we can't wait to show you our progress as development continues. Much of the sailing gameplay, such as port tasks and shipwrecking, salvaging, have already been added to the skill prototype. This means that you'll be able to try both of them in the Open Alpha next year. So additionally, we've started to map out areas of the ocean. Check out the starter zone on the map below. Sweet. Nice. We've also opened new future ship combat. The GIF shows players casting spells from a ship. It may not look like much, but even small things like this take a great deal of engine work, requiring bespoke solutions for complex problems. In this instance, we had to program the engine to check whether players can see their targets while moving on a ship. All the hard work that goes into these features is well worth it because they pave the way for more exciting encounters further down the line. If you saw our last blog, you remember that we shared some of the islands that will arriving with sailing. Needless to say, we're working on more behind the scenes. We hope you enjoyed this update. If you have any questions for the team, we'll be live Tuesday 27th of August. That was yesterday. BST for our sailing Discord stage to answer your questions and talk more about what we shared today. We'd also like to take this moment to thank everyone who's helped us so far. If you engage with our polls, Great. Okay, well I think it looks good actually. I'm excited to try it out. Hopefully I get to go in the alpha, the tech alpha. Anyway, I'm going to try to do more of these like RuneScape update videos, so follow me, subscribe, like the video, leave a comment. What do you think about this sailing update? And yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.